Step right up, let's take the dive. Crypto world is coming alive. From XRP to the blockchain beat. Join the crew where pioneers meet. Got builders, dreamers paving the way. Multi-chain vibes, we're here to stay. Wanna know? Don't wait, let's go. Dip a toe, join the Web3 flow. Take a step, explore the scene. Dip a toe, show, living the dream. From the ledger to the stars we climb. Crypto's future, it's our time. Dip a toe, yeah, take that chance. Join the vibe, let's crypto dance. It's a crypto dance. Faces of crypto, stories we share. Early adopters, they're everywhere. From XRP to the Web3 wave. Bold moves, only we're here to pave. Melissa and Simon, they light the way. Every week it's a crypto play. Wanna know? Don't wait, let's go. Dip a toe, join the Web3 flow. Take a step, explore the scene. Dip a toe, show, living the dream. From the ledger to the stars we climb. Crypto's future, it's our time. Dip a toe, yeah, take that chance. Join the vibe, let's crypto dance. Let's crypto dance. No advice, just a spark to ignite. Do your research, keep your vision tight. Community strong, we're building the way. Dip a toe show, here to stay. Take a step, explore the scene. Dip a toe, show, living the dream. From the ledger to the stars we climb. Crypto's future, it's our time. Dip a toe, yeah, take that chance. Join the vibe, let's crypto dance. So take a chance, don't be shy. Crypto's calling, we're reaching the sky. Join the movement, come take a look. Web3's rising, the world's been shook. Ooh.
The world's been shook. Ooh.
Oh, 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 oh.
What's up, Simon?
It's just another happy, wonderful, hot, sweaty hump day. Well, you probably got more sweaty than I got sweaty. You guys are hot over in the Midwest there.
It's too hot. Too hot there. Yeah, I'm too.
Do you got your ice packs? You got to get your ice packs.
You know what? I totally forgot. I have one fan blowing on me right now. Just like, I got a little Farrah faucet.
Dude,
and blowing back.
Do you have? I'm sorry. I don't know if I shared this with you. By the way, how was your 4th?
It was fantastic. Absolutely.
Awesome.
I had the best time. I took the weekend off and into Monday. I went and stayed with my friends. They have a boat. We went boating and I swam in the lake, and I got to spend some real quality time with one of my best friends that I've known since 9th grade. And, anytime that you spend time with someone who's known you that long, they really know you, right? And so it's like we've never left each other, right?
Right.
And her husband gets along with my Ryan, and we absolutely had the best time. So cool. What about you? Did you have a good 4th?
We actually we were antisocial, unintentionally, intentionally, unintentionally. So our doggo does not like the fireworks. So
that's right.
So we stay home, and it's a snuggle day for mom and dad and the dog. Usually we have people over, but this year it was just the family divided and conquered and went their separate ways. So we just stared out our front window and watched everybody else blow off all their fireworks. That spent like $1,000, $5,000 on their setup. And it's like, man, you could have bought a little bit of crypto with that. I'm just saying. But thanks for the show. It was still good. It was still good. Still good time. Just me and the wife hanging out. So we don't get that a lot. Yeah, it was very nice.
Quality time.
So
I'm
going to send you a picture later. I'm going to send you a picture later. Yeah, I'm going to send you a picture later. I think you need to get this item. My first question, and then we'll go into the show. Do you have like any recessed lighting in your house?
In the basement.
In the basement.
Yeah.
Perfect. I have found the in the budget really cool idea that at Home Depot. It is a fan with a light. It's like a ceiling fan, only it's smaller. It's like 11 inches. And it screws into your light bulb socket.
Oh,
Oh, dude.
let's
If
go.
we came across this, I bought a whole bunch of them. But I'm trying to tell everybody else, like, dude, if you want the plug and you don't want that $20, $25 thing you put in your window for the year, you're like, blow on me, dude. You just turn on the lights, nice fans from above, totally in the budget. No hookup, no wiring, no nothing. Just take the bulb out, put the new one in, hit the remote.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna try.
I'll send you a
it
picture.
out.
Pro
Yeah,
tip.
baby.
It's
Let's go.
It's worth it. It puts some of profits into that.
Great.
Yes.
I see. Our first guest was Papa XR.
Papa.
Hi, Simon and Missy, Melissa. Hope things are well and with you both, and gives us a bunch of love hearts because we love Papa. Who else we got in here, Simon?
Oh, Rogue's in the house tonight. We got Gone Rogue is in the house tonight. The lovely Mrs. Says Crypto. Keita's Brew is in the house tonight. Oh,
What's
I like
up?
the emoji. I like the change there. That's really cool, Keita. Well done on that. Let's see who else is in there. William, love you, William.
Hey.
One of the most kindest individuals that I met in Florida, and I met a lot of kind individuals. He was a really a good dude right there. That William.
Top of the notch. That one.
Yeah, top of the notch. BG1 is in the house this evening. Texas
Welcome.
Guns. It's not. It's made from New York. Who else is in the house tonight? That's all I got on my end. You got anybody on the X in there?
Let's see. I think that might be it that I'm seeing in the chat. I believe. Cool. I believe that's who we've got in the chat right at the moment. But friends, I want to welcome you all back to the Dip a Toe Show. You know, we talk crypto here. We do some deep dives and we help you navigate this wild ride that we're on. But tonight's episode is going to hit a little bit different for some of you. Over the next few years from now through probably 2028 and beyond, we're heading into a period of massive change in the digital asset space. There are regulations rolling out that are going to reshape everything as we know it today. Infrastructure upgrades are accelerating, and the emotional and the financial ride ahead, it's going to be a full-blown roller coaster. So for some of you, the choices that you've made with your time, your money, your attention over these past several years, they're about to pay off big time. But for some of the others of you, it might be a bit bumpy. So the big question is, are you ready? Tonight, we've got somebody who's been tracking these shifts closer than most, breaking down specific dates, regulatory moves, and what it all means for everyday holders and investors. And he's been on the show before. So joining us today is a real estate investor, FX trader, DeFi strategist, and one of the sharpest crypto researchers out there that I've ever seen. He's known as online as Mr. Man, and he's been mapping out the intersection of traditional finance infrastructure and digital assets like any other person I've seen. Everything from the DTCC upgrades and the ISO 222 implementations to the major regulatory frameworks that are coming online. So without further ado, let's get Mr. Man in here. Mr. Man, we're excited to have you here to break down for our audience.
Yeah. Who's this imposter? Where's Mr. Man? Who's this imposter?
Mr. Man just upstairs there. I'll go get him. Give me a second.
Okay.
I have to say, it is so lovely to see your beautiful face.
Thank you.
So for those of you who have seen Mr. Man on the Dip a Toe Show, you may have remembered him by the Spider-Man mask. He's been on the show several times, and we welcome him back this evening to share his insights. How you doing tonight, Mr. Man?
I'm doing great. I'm doing really good. I was in the middle of, as I was telling Melissa and Simon before the show started, I'm in the process of downsizing. So I'm selling my matrimonial home with my wife, and we're also selling another Airbnb. We are providing optionality for ourselves. And as Melissa said in her intro, really rightfully said that we are going into an emotional time. And depending on what side you choose to be on or chose to be on, it can play out very, very differently. And we want the optionality going forward as opposed to holding onto our wealth, and wealth being the physical, structural things that provided wealth for people. This is a wealth transition. So it's time to let some of that wealth go, get into cash, recognize optionality so you can continue.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, hot dog. Huh? Darn it. Oh,
He must
you
have
know,
to go. I mean, I know
the
how he's got to put
internet,
the
the
superhero face on.
internet.
He's got to go.
Oh,
He's got to go help somebody out in space.
yeah, I love it. I love technology sometimes, right? He'll be back, folks. He'll be back.
Of course he will.
Yeah,
He's
I
got
mean,
he's got the Spidey phone. You know,
he's
dude,
got the
when
Spidey phone.
you know when the big dogs call, you got to go, even if you're on the dip of toe.
Right.
Yeah, 100%, man. Let's make sure everything gets all lively there before he's trying to make his way back. Looks like he just had to just assess a possible
On your way
natural, figurative disaster. So we'll see if Mr. Man can come back. Make sure he can spend a little bit more time with us, because he's always saving lives somewhere.
Absolutely,
Literally,
you know.
he is saving lives, and I love how he just put that so eloquently there. Wealth transfer. In your guys' journey here, and I know we're going to bring him back, but I just want to highlight this. In your guys' financial journey, wealth building journey, you got to know when to hold them. You got to know when to fold them. And that's what he's doing. He's exiting a position on a thing, so he has the liquidity to get into something else, to do other things. Optionality. I like that word. Ladies and gentlemen, he's back.
Let's
Whoa!
get him back. Let's go.
Yeah. The internet's not always the most stable here. We live in the bush, like legitimately, and now we're moving deeper into the bush. Yeah, 2020, when COVID hit, it hit differently. And we recognized that there was a different calling for us, and we were trying to rush things. And now the universe is legitimately unfolding everything we were rushing to get right in front of us here. And it's creating and allowing us to walk into that optionality simply by selling these properties here, because we're going to be sitting on a massive position on cash. We're just, the saying is, do as I do, not as I say. And these people like the Bill Gates, the Warren Buffetts of the world, you see them offloading their wealth, sitting into cash. There's no reason why I'm not trying to do that too. So I was like, I'm following what you guys are doing. I'm listening, ears to the ground, feet in the boots on the ground. I'm making those moves that I need to make. I want to take you guys through where we are today, what's happening today, and project that forward. And I want to come back full circle into 2017 to take us back into the future to help us understand today. Because to understand where we are and where we're going, you have to understand where we came from. So
you're gonna do a little future proofs past.
I guess you could say that.
Baby. Let's go.
Yeah, so I'm queuing up right now a video of Paul Atkins, if you guys can see it, hopefully I don't lose internet. This video is of Paul Atkins. He was at this conversation here at the Economic Club of New York, and this had taken place June 30th here. So listen to this, okay? He's talking about the SAVE Act.
The path to doing so rests on what I'm calling the SEC's ACT strategy, which is comprised of three interlocking aims: to advance our frameworks into the modern era, to clarify our jurisdictional lines, and to transform our rulebook by returning it to first principles, ACT. The first, advance, begins where the cost of complacency is clearest. Under the previous administration, digital asset innovators operated under regulatory ambiguity, and those who sought regulatory certainty from the FCC often found themselves under investigation instead. The market rendered its verdict, and an entire generation of digital asset innovation developed overseas. So, over the past year, we have moved purposefully to answer President Trump's call to make America the crypto capital of the world. Through what we're calling Project Crypto, we are taking historic steps to modernize our rules and regulations to facilitate markets moving on chain.
Perfect. Moving on chain. What a solid way to end. And from there, I want to jump a bit forward. That's at section 5043. 5043. You really got to be organized with these things here. Here we go.
Tim's new Poppin' Frozen posters.
Don't mind the commercial here. I don't
a
time for these
rocket
things.
meets an asteroid, or a symphony of fireworks. You
I
can
don't have
drink.
it. I don't have it up yet.
Try all
Here we
the
go.
flavors.
Okay,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
still the same thing. What the heck? There's two
Charlie's having a
commercials?
friend over.
Oh.
Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Comment on this. And so it's then my colleagues and I in the commission to vote. So it's, this is our process, and so we'll see where it goes. But let's basically say that the proposal was adopted unanimously. So
the SAVE Act that he was just talking about there has been adopted unanimously, all right?
What notice and comment?
When do you
brings.
think the actual vote will occur?
Well, we have a comment period that's still running, and there's this where we've gone back to the traditional 60-day comment period versus the abbreviated one.
This part here is very important, the 60-day comment period, okay?
That came in the previous administration, but so I can't recall when exactly it's will run out, but here in the next month or two, and so then we'll be able to go about promulgating.
Can you guys hear me still?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. We can. Your video stopped though. For some reason.
You guys hear me still?
Yes.
Yes,
Can
sir.
you hear me, Melissa? Okay, there we go.
Or allowing the former rule to continue.
Also, in your remarks, you talked about cryptocurrency, crypto investments. You and the CFTC. Can you be just a little more specific on that?
So a few years ago, I want to say in 2023, I pulled up this document. Oh, you can't even see me. I don't know what happened there.
Camera's off.
It's okay.
You can't see me at all, huh? Yeah, I'm just experiencing a whole
right now. Oh, there it is. We saw you for a second.
Okay,
There you go.
there we go. Okay, perfect. So a few years ago, I want to say it was 2018, 2019, 2020, around there, CFTC, SEC had done a joint document where what would happen if the CFTC and SEC actually merged, right? And that became a topic for me to grasp onto and understand. And now they're talking about the CFTC, SEC. And the reason that's important is because most people or everybody is waiting on this Clarity Act, right? The Clarity Act designates which governing body is going to be responsible for this and responsible for that. So that's what he's discussing now.
What is your position? Is it a currency? Is it an investment? Who is going to do the bulk of the regulating of this? I mean, you mentioned some sort of détente or entente.
Yeah.
Wasn't clear to me how that was going to work. And in general, is it your view that the use of cryptocurrencies for a variety of things, one could say across the board, is a good thing, that you want to expand the use of cryptocurrency?
Well, I guess two things. One is, it's not up to government to pick winners and losers. And so that's why, our whole program now to advance, clarify, and transform is to address this. And in the past, basically, the SEC was focused more on, that this particular budding product or innovation was inherently evil, and rather than the individuals who might subvert it are evil. So, so it's not for me to say any particular cryptocurrency or solution is good or not, but to allow the market to do it. So
just to end it there with the video, essentially what he's looking to do is make IPOs great again. You're going to see a flood of IPOs from different companies coming out at this point. So when you heard Chris Larson, Brad Garlinghouse, David Schwartz, Paul Atkins of the SEC, when these guys talk about the network effect, that we're legit going to see this network effect of IPOs coming out end Q3, Q4, Q1 2027. It's going to be significant. It's going to be marvelous. So we have
Can
an
I say
understanding.
this? Can I say this?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Mhm.
I don't know what happened. Oh no, what happened?
I stopped sharing that screen.
Okay. What I was going to say is, number one, I don't know why, but I believe him. I believed when he was talking, what he was saying. And it's things like that. It gives me great hope that we are kind of moving away from the old ways into the new ways. And even the choice of words that he used, as far as like using the words evil, like you don't normally hear them talk like that, right? Calling it out in saying that. And then the two other things, you talked about the 60-day waiting period, the comment period. Now that is not only for them to comment, isn't that for public commentary as well, right? And so that's where we come in when they have these types of these rulings or proposals coming out. That is the time period for us to make our comments and things to be known for that. So for those of you who don't know that. And then the other thing, as far as the SEC and the CFTC kind of working together, that is a huge step because also that has been quite a tool for delays and, you know, all this other kind of stuff to kind of stifle innovation, pitting one agency against the other type of thing. So to me, having them say we're going to be working together is another good sign in the right direction.
It's huge. It's huge. So just this morning, if you want to pull that document up there, this had come out. I post this in my group. For all you guys that are in my group, you will have had early access to all of these documents here that I'm going to be showing you today, and these pieces that what I'm discussing here. So this came out 2026, just this morning, unlocking capital with U.S. tokenized money market funds, MMFs, for collateral mobility. And the reason that's significant, the goal is to get the collateral off of your balance sheet. You don't want to be the one to have that because you want to be able to reconcile these, what do you call them here? Accounts payables and these accounts receivables, because when you are paying something, you want it off of your balance sheet. It's not your money. You can keep it on there to make it look a lot better and inflate your balance sheet. However, it's not yours. In a digital manner, now it can get to the next end point or the next point of where it needs to go. And that's what they're solving for within this. You have EY, Federated Hermes, you have Hogan, Codwalder, I'm not sure who they are, and Onera, who put this together, along with ISDA, International Swaps Derivatives Association, and GDF. So the significance of this, if I get past all this here, the forward, here we go. So the tokenization wave has now reached the shores of the global capital markets. You've had Vanguard, VanEck, you've had BlackRock, numerous other companies coming out with ETFs. The deluge of recent announcements launching tokenized digital financial offerings in public, private, and alternative markets across different asset classes, including stocks, bonds, commodities, derivatives, and real estate, are breathtaking, if not at times a bit dizzying. At the amount, the speed with all this information is coming out is just like drinking from a fire hose, legit a fire hose. And I remember the last time I was here, I had used the example in terms of how far we were. We were sitting on a mountain or a hill, and we had binoculars looking out to the distance at, well, there's a wave coming. This looks wild. And you could slowly see it coming. Some of these people that are in that valley there are about to get drowned. Unfortunately, they're about to get drowned because they have no idea what's about to go on here. And when I said that we are entering an emotional time, I'm leaving that very ambiguous. Emotional can go either way, good, bad, indifferent. I'm not here to choose. It depends on what side of you've planned on preparing for your future. So as I go forward now into who these guys are, working group and sandbox, co-chairs and secretariats, they've created a sandbox for these money market funds. Let's see who the contributors are of this working group here. All right, so we have BOA, Bank of America, BitGo, BlackRock, Bloomberg, BNP Paribas, BNY Mellon. You have Canton Network, you have Charles Schwab, you have Circle, Citi, you got CME Group, Commonwealth of Australia. Copper as well. Copper as well. I'm going to go through these here to take my time. You have Crypto.com. You have DFNS, Digital Asset. Digital Asset is the parent company to Canton Network. You have DTI Foundation. They are the ones who come out with the, they make the legalization more physical by allowing CUSIPs and ISINs and serial numbers for these digital assets to move. You have Ethereum, EY, you have Fidelity, Fireblocks, Finality, Franklin Templeton, Freddie Mac, the GDF, another company who created this, creating the sandbox here, Goldman Sachs, Hashgraph, Hedera Foundation. I'm going to continue on because these are big names that we all need to see. The ICMA, we have ISDA, we have JP Morgan, we have Layer Zero, we have LSEG Group, we have Moody's Ratings, Morgan Stanley, MUFG, NatWest, Nomura, Northern Trust, PwC, and a lot of these guys are Ripple partners and using RLUSD. That's the big thing there. We got Redstone, Ripple, front and center. We have S&P Global Ratings. We have SIFMA. We have Standard Bank, Standard Charter, State Street, Stellar, Swift. We have Truist Bank. We have US Bank, which was a Stellar partner as well, UBS, Vanguard, and Wisdom Tree. So we got big names within this ecosystem for this sandbox. I have a headache. Sorry. I do have a headache.
I mean, this is incredible. I'm kind of surprised. Is there any one of these tied to the Metallicus in the credit union work that they're doing? Is there any? I don't recognize anybody that's associated. I'm kind of surprised to not see them in there, quite frankly.
So I haven't had the opportunity to fully go through this yet because I found this morning, sent it to my group, and then I've been off showcasing my Airbnb, attempting to sell that. Not attempting to, I'm going to sell that, what it comes down to at the end of the day. So the 60-day period, if you recall, Paul Atkins, the chair of the SEC, had stated they're going back to their 60-day window now. So this was a June 30th document, or June 30th conference, sorry. So that brings us into August in terms of the 60-day window here. And that has to do with now implementation, adoption decisions. And that could be any time leading up to that at that point there. So we now have an end date looking into August and then a bit forward for them to now make a decision. We know this. July or April 2025 now. I'm going back in time to bring into where we are now. The DTCC had announced a tokenized real-time collateral management platform built on app chain infrastructure. That takes us to Chainlink. In May 2025, the DTCC announced the Chainlink collaboration for 24/7 collateral management. None of this stuff is one crypto versus another, as the media would have you to believe. They always like, oh my God, Chainlink's being picked. It's not about what's been picked. It's what's the stack that's being built. Chainlink is being utilized as a data aggregator. That's why you see it with ETCC, you see it with Swift. And when I say data aggregation, what it does is like picture the Lord of the Rings, that all-seeing eye that can see everything. That's what Chainlink allows. That's what an Oracle does, provides credible price feeds for what's off-chain, coming on-chain, for the movement of things, to provide credible, real price feeds at this point here. That's what Chainlink offers, and that's why you have Swift utilizing them. Swift is changing its role to data aggregation. DTCC offers data aggregation. July 25th, July 2025, last year, we had the Fedwire migration to ISO 20022. For all you guys who don't know, Fedwire is the US's cross-border payments system or platform that they use. And then November 22nd, 2025, Swift had begun the coexistence ending period. Early 2026, we had regulators began to accelerate asset classification. We had custody, we had banking, stablecoin, and market structure rules coming into play. Last month, June, was the convergence, and it stood out to me. It just stood out. I saw how many banks had their monetary policies all stacked within the same window of 2-week period, and I've never seen that before. So June 2026, we had the rulemaking comment clock began at this point here. June 28th, I keep talking about it in my group. This was a comment period ending for June 18th, 2026. And this comment period had to do with capital rules. And what the capital rules are, it states what the banks are required to hold as collateral to then now issue out, a loan, a mortgage, a line of credit, or whatever it is. Because it's not, I can give a bank $100 and they can fractionally reserve, issue at $90 now and keep 10. That's done. With Basel III taking place beginning, or one of the second implementations for BIS, I recognize the actual tightening of my life around me at that point. I knew it was coming. I didn't know how it was going to play out. But it's like I kept telling the group, all right, we're going to see tightening. I don't know how it's going to be, how it's going to feel, what we have to do, plan for it, keep cash on the side, plan for it. Basel III took hold January 1st, 2026. And now we see what the world of tightening looks like around us. We see higher inflation, which is causing stagflation. We see Trump, President Twitter fingers, talking about we're working on an MOU with Iran, and then boom, 10 hours later, missiles are flying again from the US over to Iran. Iran is attacking Israel. The UAE is being bombed. It doesn't matter what's happening here. This is how you manipulate and control an economy without quantitative tightening, because they stopped quantitative tightening last year. So they're unable to raise rates through their mandate. However, when you have the president, when he speaks and the markets move, you see it in real time. So that's what we're watching now. Where am I? June 2026, we have treasury buybacks. We have bill purchases operation, which adds reserves and support liquidity management. Also, June 2026, the NSCC, the DTCC, the FIC, all within the same organization, just different aspects of this one organization, provide notices to accelerate operational changes. Stable coins, AML, KYC. AML simply means anti-money laundering. KYC is know your customer. Framework proposals all align payment stablecoin issuers closer to the bank expectation. And the reason that's significant, because the banks aren't going to go out and start their own blockchain and start all these new things. If you notice, the on and off ramps, the Krakens of the world, the BitGos of the world, the Coinbase of the world, they do all the KYCing, they do all the AML stuff. The banks do all the BSA, Bank Secrecy Act compliance stuff. So as we continue to move forward, when crypto is finally desirable for them, when they're not under when the prudential treatment of crypto assets begins to loosen up, and the reason they're not holding these unbacked crypto assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, XLM, Algo, whatever have you, is because the risk weight to hold these on a balance sheet is 1,250%. 1,200. So for every dollar, you need to have 1,250% of that, to hold. And it's like, I'm not touching that. I'd rather lend money out and continue to make money. This is hindering my operation. So no one's touching that. So that comment period I was telling you about, which ended June 18th, that now determines what the banks are going to be required to hold in terms of collateral there, like I was talking about. So that's how that all comes together. July 1st, FICC came out with this thing called the CCLF. I'm going to show you the link to this, which is a liquidity reset. So we've now hit the tipping point, which we've all heard for quite some time. The tipping point is coming. It's coming up. This is the liquidity reset for the U.S. through the FICC's DTCC. So liquidity framework changes as Treasury clearing reforms advance. Let me pull this up. so you see what I'm talking about here.
Okay.
Right there.
I think you gotta, oh, there. Oh.
Share screen, right there.
Let's go.
Okay, there we go. So, dated June 16th, 2026, 2 days prior to the comment period ending with how much collateral banks have to hold. No coincidence there. So what this is, the Government Securities Division of the FICC. The FICC is Fixed Income Clearing Corporation, will reset at the individual total amount for each netting member effective July 1st, 2026. The reset will reflect a look back period of January 1st. They're able to look back to that period right up to June 30th. So that window was all open for them, even though they're giving themselves a reset. So with the July 2026 reset, the liquidity buffer percentage that is used to size the aggregate GST, which was the Government Securities Division, will decrease from 30% to 10%. The liquidity buffer parameter change will be effective as of July 1st to align with the total facility with historical facility sizes. So they're trying to bring us back to certain past. As you heard Paul Atkins discussing there, we want to go back to how we used to act. We're going back to some of the past. You might have noticed some of the Riddler language with what's his name, guy from Back to the Future. He keeps showing up with Back to the Future, Back to the Future. Yeah. I think at one of the SEC's conferences, they were talking about going back to the future. No coincidences there. So I want to continue on. July 2nd is this one here, the hot weather. Did I pull that up? I didn't pull that one up. I'm going to skip that one then. Okay, so here we are. So July 2026, there's been continuous debate about the Genius Act and Clarity Act. They brought the Genius Act in 2025, and now it's up for debate. And there are hard dates on when this needs to be implemented by. So everything in between that is discussion. It's all up for discussion. And this is when we learn based off of what they learned. So with all the conversation taking place, I stick close to this. I legit don't want to make this sound bad, but don't have a life, right? Like I'm stuck to my phone. It's like an extension of my arm. Headphones are in. If I go for a run, if I go for a walk, I need to know what's going on. So I can provide creditable information, provide the documents. This is where I found it. Here's how you guys can find it now. Go continue to do your research. Each one teach one. I want everybody to be able to know everything going on. I don't want to harbor all this information. What does it serve me? So
I love it, Mr. Man.
Thank you very much.
I'm so appreciative of your hard work and the fact that you're able to explain things the way that we need to have them explained to us. So
thank you. You're beautiful. You're beautiful.
Beautiful. Got another one.
Just continuing on. I think this is the one I want to pull up. This is here, January. This is it here. Okay, so now we were talking about June. Now let me go into July here because we're talking about the DTCC still here. The DTCC advances development of new tokenization services, which convenes 50 plus firms to drive digital asset adoption. The key dates here, July 13th and October for full launch. This is a soft launch. This is the full launch here. And again, I'm going back. I started off with the SEC and then showing you that PDF and who those participants were to enable the US's money market funds. And here we are here now. The DTCC, TradFi, and DeFi. I've shown you guys all those names there. Same names show up again here. We have Anchorage Digital. We have Bank of America. We have BitGo. We have BlackRock, we have Bitwave, we have BNP Paribas, we have Broadridge, Charles Schwab, Circle, Citadel, Citi, Digital Assets, all the same names. No, none of this is coincidence because you need clearing and settlement when you have money moving. Right down here to Ripple. right? All the same names. None of this stuff is coincidental. I want to keep moving forward here to July 17th now. And as you would ask Melissa about the credit unions, what's the significance of it? Where do they fit into this? Where does Metallicus fit into this? None of this is just about Ripple. I'm going to show you guys the ecosystem is what I'm doing. I'm going to bring in several different chains, several different digital companies here. So here we are, taking place, comments on proposal for permitted payment stablecoin issuers standards due July 17th, put out by the National Credit Unions Administration, which Metallicus works hand in glove, almost like OJ and the glove. If the glove don't fit, you must quit. So that's taking place July 17th, literally the next day. So the NCUA board is requesting comments on implementing portions of the Genius Act. Specifically, this proposal supplements the previous issued proposal they had and would govern the issuance of payment stablecoins. So payment stablecoins, the issuer is known as a PPSI. I don't remember what it stands for immediately, unfortunately. It's a long acronym. There's way too many alphabet soups going on there. But there are things that these payment stablecoin providers need to adhere to. And these payment stablecoin providers need to, for one, operate within the US, onshore, America, right? Like the Eagles walking around with like a gun, shooting up, blasting things off, fireworks. Like America's all about onshore. We make big trucks. We love big things. We love meat. We love, like America's all about the big things. You need to have it onshore. If you are a payment stablecoin issuer and you are under the 10 billion threshold, you need your BIT license at that point there to issue state by state. Circle had gone through it. Ripple had gone through it. Tether, I don't know. They haven't gone through it, and they're offshore. 2 strikes against them for me. Issue stablecoin over the 10 billion threshold, you need to now go through the process through the OCC, the Office of the Comptroller, to now receive your trust chartered license. Circle's going through that. Ripple's going through that. Kraken's been through that. Kraken's the first one to actually achieve their skinny account to get access to the Federal Reserve. So we have key characters already. I brought in Kraken, I brought in Metallicus, I brought in BitGo, I brought in Ripple. We spoke about Stellar, we spoke about Hedera, Canton, digital assets. I'm gonna go through the list tonight. Honestly, none of what I say is financial advice. I'm just providing the breakdown of what's taking place. July 17th to July 18th, none of this is coincidental. Again, here it is here. Let me pull this up. Literally, it's just happening in succession, right? Almost like it was planned. What do I know?
Can I just say this?
Yeah.
The fact that you showed us this, and you're going to take us back to the beginning, but you can tell this is all of the framework foundation that's being laid. This stuff doesn't happen overnight. They've been working together, cooperating for years. As you know, working in the industry that you came from, changing any kind of policies and procedures and all of that takes incredible amount of work. And then the education, the rollout to all the powers that be underneath, it's an incredible feat. So we are way down the line, way down the road, right?
Absolutely. And the thing about these key dates that I bring up, it's not that a date hits and it's like, crypto's going to go up. That's not a reality. The reality is the network effect, like I had spoken about in the very beginning of this show with you guys, because each company needs to do their own thing and needs to adopt a digital asset or a blockchain and start building on top of it and issue and move collateral and whatever. This needs to happen. That's how the network effect happens. It's not just, the DTCC is using Chainlink. It's going to $1,000 tomorrow. Not a reality. The key dates mean is these companies have this amount of time to get this regulation looked after and get it. This is what's being implemented. So y'all got to figure, pardon your language, figure your shit out, because once this state hits here, we need to be ready to go. And if you're not ready to go, we can do extensions. And I see people on X saying, another date. It's not about the dates. The dates It's about what's building up to that date and what we can expect to happen from these characters, such as Swift, and what they're actually doing and implementing. So Swift release now coming up, managing MT and MX. This is rich data. This is the old standard they had here. Let's check out their key dates. So where are we at here? July 18th, literally the next day for what I was talking about. This is their pilot. This is their pilot. This is the next edition of their CBPR, Cross-Border Remittance Payments Plus, the next upgrade. And then finally in November, I want to go through this one here as well, Ferg. Yeah, because there's so much. Literally the same date as Swift as well. Same date as Swift, because again, nothing happens in a silo. They're trying to remove these silos. So here, the Ferg, 30-day deadline originating from June 18th, large load showcase orders, which is July 20th. By this date, all U.S. regional grid operators, we're talking about energy now, because the U.S. has the largest amount of data centers being built at like a breakneck speed, must submit mandatory informational reports on how they will ensure adequate generation to serve large energy users. All right, and this needs to be submitted by July 20th. So just going back, we know that the DTCC has a pilot with 50 firms, and the soft launch is July 13th. And then we have the NCUA, National Credit Unions Association, on July 17th. And then we have SWIFT on July 18th. And then we have the FERG and energy usage for implementation or comment period, for July 8th, July 20th. So none of this is, again, coincidence. Nothing is coincidence. July 2026, June 28th, 2026, the DTCC had gone live with 24/5 clearing and settlement, which takes us from Friday to the Sunday as one giant day to clear and settle now. July 28th, also, FINRA projected performance communication deadline as well. FINRA to issue out financial products and to guide people with financial products. You need to be FINRA registered. And this is significant because distribution roles are being updated alongside the infrastructure roles as well. Because as infrastructure rolls out, you want those people that can be like, okay, we can use this now. Let's push this out. We have a digital economy forming here. We have ETFs. We have digital collateral. We have real estate. We have tokenized products. We have RWAs ready to use. All we need now is this regulated money, a substance like a stable coin, like an RLUSD for wholesale, or a USDC for more of a lower level type of thing, which BlackRock controls because they have it secured through BlackRock. That's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there. But I want to continue because we're now moving into the treasury side of things here. I don't want to talk about that.
You got to talk about that.
Okay, so here we go. So August 21st, 2026. What's that? What was that, Melissa?
I said you got to talk about that, about the treasury.
Can you hear me still?
Yes.
The whole BlackRock thing? Okay, so the way that works, their trifecta, you have Coinbase, you have Circle, you have BlackRock. Coinbase and Circle have a partnership there for USDC to be native within the Coinbase space itself, and Circle custodies with BlackRock. BlackRock has access to the Fed overnight repo, so it's a very interesting partnership with the way that they work. And USDC is enabled because of, I don't want to say because of BlackRock, but BlackRock owns a significant portion of, the US essentially, for lack of better terms. So in that 60-day comment period, which I brought up by the SEC, regulators begin moving from what should the framework look like to which version actually gets adopted. And then beyond that, into Q3, Q4, 2026 becomes the watch window. And when I say watch windows, I'm watching for things like the SEC, CFTC, jurisdictional decisions that come out of this year, which is what is going to enable the Clarity Act. So now we have a timeline for the Clarity Act. Everyone's saying it's going to come out in July. It's going to come out. Now we have what to watch for based on what's coming up and what's happening right now. So we know that for these things to exist, we need clarity between Q3, potentially Q4. Which assets become clearly commodities versus a security? We have broker-dealer permission taking place, alternative trading systems approvals, custody rules, bank digital asset permissions. That's the PPSI, is a stablecoin issuer approvals. We have the DTCC collateral pilot, which takes full production in October. And then we have tokenized treasury adoption. And that's significant. Let me pull this up now, right here. There we go. I'm gonna pull this up.
Bring in the sauce.
I'm gonna hit you with this treasury right here, man, with the DTCC treasury. I'm gonna be like, what's his name there? Salt Bay, and just sprinkle that salt right now. I'm gonna hit you with this DTCC US Treasury clearing, because this is where that deep liquidity actually sits. 2.4 trillion average daily volume. Okay. So here we go. The US Treasury market is the largest, most liquid sovereign debt market in the world, with transactions cleared through the DTCC, FICC. These are all names I brought up before, the Government Security Division, now surpassing 11 trillion daily activity. Daily. With the SEC expansion of central clearing in U.S. Treasury on the horizon, the FICC stands at the center of a monumental industry initiative. Now, so extended deadlines to December 2026 into June 2027. I'm gonna hit you with the sauce on these dates here, but hold on, wait, there's still more.
There's still more.
Now, I'm gonna bring you into some of these blockchain providers that we all know and we all love here. If you wanna, when you get a chance, if you wanna pull this one up here.
Here we go.
Using internet service. There we go.
There we go.
So, the XRPL lending protocol bringing credit infrastructure on chain. The US operates on credits, all right? They've gone through a lot of upgrades significantly recently. So for the last several years, most blockchain progress has focused on asset representation and transfers, issuing digital instruments, settling transactions faster, and reducing friction. By moving an asset on chain is only half the job. Real financial markets depend on what happens next. Borrowing against assets. We have spoken about that comment period for what the banks need to hold as collateral. And now the XRPL with Ripple is talking about what needs to be held at this point here. So you can see how they're all being interwoven together, putting them to work as collateral, accessing liquidity without having to sell.
XLS 65.
You're ahead of me. So as more real assets move on chain, including treasuries, money market funds. I showed you that PDF in the very beginning there, who the companies are that are enabling these money market funds, Ripple being one of them. Ripple utilizes the XRP ledger, like, stable coins, RLUSDs, commodities, private credit. The question's no longer just whether those assets can exist on chains. It is, how do they become productive once they're there? All right. How does a payment provider provide bridge liquidity between settlements windows? I want to continue. We were talking about custody. Let me see where I'm at. Yeah, I want to talk about custody as well, just briefly, because none of this stuff is enabled without custody. Custody needs to be secured first. Banks need to know where these regulated stable coins are going to be held at. So as we look at regulated companies, one of the deepest, darkest, brightest pools in terms of regulated custody, we got BNY Mellon with Ripple here. Ripple custody serves USD reserves, Ripple USD reserves, RLUSD, all right? These guys have access to the Fed as well. These guys custody for the Fed. Ripple will likely get a skinny account because these guys have access to the Fed. They can access that repo window as well. Ripple can now do that with RLUSD. I mean, put the puzzle pieces together and you can see things happening. People will call you conspiracy theorists, and it's like, nah, just read the tea leaves. It tells you everything that's happening. Just not everybody takes time to understand it. So today, Ripple, the leading provider of digital asset infrastructure for financial institutions, announced it has selected BNY Mellon. Ripple selected BNY Mellon, not BNY Mellon selected Ripple. Ripple selected BNY Mellon. And not just everybody or anybody can just say, yeah, BNY Mellon, I'm gonna go with you. Let one of us three here try that and see how that works. Let's see how many other crypto companies can do that and see how well that works. I don't think there's too many of that. All right. So BNY and Ripple are jointly committed to paving the way for digital asset adoption at institutional scale and bridging, and together are bridging the gap between traditional finance and crypto ecosystem. How do you bridge from TradFi to DeFi? You need an XRP in the middle of all that. Or you can have an RLUSD, because the way this ecosystem is being set up is two facilities. You have Project Agora, Unified Ledger on the west side, and then you have Project Mbridge on the east side here. And a lot of people say, well, you can just exchange stable coins and swap one stable coin for the next. Do any of you guys listening and you guys here with me see the Iranian government swapping for any US dollars? Nah, none of them. They don't trust the US dollars. So that's where a neutral bridge asset like XRP comes in, because they don't have to have trust. It's a trustless system. None of the BRICS nations, not many of the BRICS nations, not many, let me rephrase, not many of the BRICS nations have that trust for the US dollar. Russia was cut off from SWIFT. The US stole Russian gold. Iran has been sanctioned. There's numerous countries that have been sanctioned that have been cut off from SWIFT and now can only trade amongst themselves. Between Russia and Iran, they conduct their trade, and all of their trade, 96% of their trade is conducted, 96.7% of their trade is conducted in their own currencies, completely bypassing the US dollar. And so if you don't have US dollar acting as a bridge currency, what else do you have as a neutral bridge asset? If US wants to get involved and continue to trade, they're not taking the US dollar. You need an XRP. You need something like an XRP in the middle there that can solve for that. So where am I? Just going back now. In 2024 to 2025, we had the rails being laid down and being built. 2026 they're now writing the operation. You can see it. All these rules are being just thrown out there. I'm going through a bunch of them already right now. 2027 is where you start seeing traffic actually choose which rails they're going to be utilizing. And that's why the 60-day clock actually holds significance, because it's not the comment period that holds significance. It's what sits in the middle of the actual handoff from experimentation into regulated market infrastructure is what's significant. And this is where the pieces begin to start touching and laying down with what exists today, from what architecture is actually going to be enabled or could be enabled. Not saying going to be, could be enabled. So now I'm going to take you a step deeper into what the DTCC and Ripple, not the DTCC, but with this 50 company pilot, how it's actually being enabled. All right, I had done a deep dive into that as well. So Ripple
gems, more gems.
Ripple acquiring Hidden Road last year, I believe it was, when they came out with this partnership. Ripple much closer, which brings so Hidden Road through the prime brokerage brings Ripple much closer to the DTCC at this point here, but they sit at a completely different layer than the DTCC. Ripple Prime settles post trades. The DTC is the central market utility, and Ripple Prime sits at the other end where they settle post trade, and they handle things like the DTC handles things like trade. They do matching, clearing, netting, settlements, coordination. Like I was saying, they're a data aggregator, and data aggregator does coordination. They do custody recording, as well as risk management. And the scale is enormous of what the DTCC does. The DTCC processes quadrillions of dollars annually. You saw the treasury or repo market is at, what was it, 11.2 trillion, I think I showed you, and the DTC settles annually quadrillions in securities transactions. So daily US equity clearing alone can represent hundreds of billions to trillions of dollars, and Ripple Prime sits closer to the participant layer now. So let me show you how the prime brokerage, Ripple Prime, connects to this. They provide the hedge funds or connect to the hedge funds, the market makers, the asset managers, the trading firms, the exchanges, and liquidity provider. They're the ones who make all the moves. And coincidentally enough, Ripple Prime uses the XRPL. So whether they're moving RLUSD, XRP can be used as a gas token in that sense now. So it's used as bridging liquidity to swap from one stablecoin to the next. And for the US platform, it can be utilized as a gas token. More than that, but for this services, this is what it can be utilized for. It also handles things like financing, collateral, margin, settlement operations, trade lifecycle services as well. So the bridge between two worlds is simply post-trade. The problem isn't, can we trade fast enough? The trading is legitimately already digital. I've heard several conferences where they kept saying, we've already digitized everything. We've already digitized it. So the way it used to operate is, I brought something, who owes what? Where's the collateral? Who has the cash? When does ownership update? And when can I then reutilize this capital for anything? But when we tokenize this now, what it essentially looks like is you have you have Ripple Prime manages financing, collateral, FX, liquidity. XRPL with RLUSD handles movement of tokenized cash and liquidity. Settlements happen much closer to real time. Records reconcile with regulated market infrastructure, and the size of money involved depends on which layer Ripple actually captures at this point here. So if we're only looking at it from a prime brokerage standpoint, for crypto prime brokerage, that could be tens of billions, what exists on chain right now. But if we're looking at it, like I just spoke about the treasuries and the collateral that exists and real estate coming on and the other RWA coming on chain, we're looking at trillions at this point here. I'm not saying they're going to move trillions, but if the tea leaves are reading correctly with where Ripple sits, post-trade settlement, with who they're going to be trading with, settling for, traditionalized companies who are moving trillions, it just makes sense.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So, this seems like the appropriate time to make this statement. I've noticed that there's been more put out about XRP being, we all know it's a bridge currency, right? That was like an initial use case, and then of course the gas token and moving money quickly for pennies on the dollar and all of that. But also moving more, it being thought of is more of, I think it was called core collateral or core capital in these markets where how you just said in the XLS 65 and 66 with being able to lock it up in a vault and then create the loans from it. And so it's my view that as all this stuff comes about, all the tea leaves, like you're saying, reading the tea leaves, people that or institutions that do have XRP or large amounts, they're not going to be selling it. They're going to be locking it up and making it work for them in various ways, whether it is being used as a bridge currency, whether it's being used as core collateral or a gas token. It's a utility in it, like, right? Or what do you think about that?
You're absolutely right. I mean, I'm utilizing it too. I'm not locking up a significant amount, but I'm enabling my XRP through the Flare network, through the F assets that they have. I mean, it takes a non-smart contract or non-smart contract asset and turns it into a smart contract. And that the way the Flare does it is truly smart, right? A lot of these bridges are failing. You've seen a lot of these attacks taking place because the way they have their assets supposedly pegged to the other asset on the other chain isn't holding its peg. So the way Flare does it, XRP is locked up on the XRPL, then these other F assets are minted. So you have one for one, as opposed to, well, here's our rendition of XRP backed by Lord knows what.
Right.
You know, on a bridge that, you know, Lord knows why this bridge needs to be around either. So you have derivative on top of a derivative on, you know, daisy chain of thing. You can make a derivative of this other, you know, tokenized XRP, if you will, on this bridge here. You can have a daisy chain of that. And that's the thing people don't recognize. It has to be backed by high quality liquid assets, HQLA. I pulled this up here because I wanted to show some of the companies that are involved in these tokenized RWAs here. Here we go. So you have Ripple, Securitize brings RLUSD to BlackRock, VanEck, tokenized funds. Vanguard is in this as well. This happened, was it last year? Yeah, there we go, September 2025. Yeah. And people began the whole, well, Ripple's not using XRP, it's about RLUSD. And it's like, y'all don't realize this. But there's been numerous conversations where Brad Garlinghouse, David Schwartz, Evan Schwartz, Stefan Thomas, numerous Ripple employees were saying that if Ripple was to ever go away, XRP would continue to exist and do its thing. So whether my hypothesis is correct on this, I could see a scenario where Ripple walks away from XRP. It becomes a neutral bridge asset, not controlled by any country. Because when you have a neutral bridge asset like that, a supernatural asset, I don't want to say eliminates, but it reduces the Trilithon dilemma. And that might be a term that you guys aren't familiar with. The Trilithon dilemma states that any country who their currency rises up as a bridge asset inevitably dominates the rest of the world. And we're living through that right now with the US dollar, because anybody that wants to conduct a swap and send money overseas needs the US dollar as a bridge currency. So now that you have a supernatural or a non-jurisdictional asset such as an XRP, you don't have to have a country in charge of that. Each country can then manage their own liquidity at that point. And to go across borders and conduct trades with a country you don't trust, or they don't trust you, you have an asset that does that swap for you at that point.
I agree with you 100%. And this is my solid belief that this is the way. And imagine all of the work that has gone through building the trust with these countries to recognize that XRP truly will be that, just what you said. They will be able to use their own currencies, and they'll be able to do commerce with their own currency, use it as a bridge in between. They don't have to trust and rely on the United States any longer, right? That is very important for the world. And that is one of the things that excites me the most about XRP and the XRP ledger and what's been built. Yeah.
I'm going to eventually lead into the Trump accounts, because all of what I'm discussing here enables the Trump accounts. And that's like free money for people. And that's how you onboard mass scale, onboard people into this digital world, whether they recognize it or not. So I want to continue on here. So a tokenized stock without tokenized cash still hits old settlement bottlenecks. That's why we need the Genius Act to come through. So the stack then becomes company shares, tokenized assets, you have the DTCC or market infrastructure, trusted records and settlement rules. You have prime brokerage, which then goes to the institutional access and financing. Then you have stable coins and tokenized deposits, which enables money movements. Then you have networks like the XRPL, which then transfers the liquidity to the infrastructure. And now we add the SAVE Act, which I brought up in the very beginning of this conversation under Chairman Paul Atkins, a discussion around regulations. So the point is creating clearer rules so companies and institutions know where they can and what they can in fact build. And the magnitude is not simply, IPO marketing alone. It's going to enable that, which then enables a network effect. But the US equity market is roughly tens of trillions. The bonds market is actually larger. And then the derivatives market is larger than that. And I will get into that. So repo and collateral markets are the machine that actually lives underneath. The huge opportunity is not someone buying Apple stock on chain. It's legit a world where every security becomes a programmable piece of collateral. A pension fund holding bonds, a hedge fund needing liquidity, a corporation issuing debt, a bank managing collateral, a market maker moving between currencies. And this is the world Ripple Prime would sit in. So when the pieces in sequence, and we'll put them in sequence for you now. The pieces in sequence, we have the XRPL settlement rail 2012. We have 2018 to 2014, 2018 to 2024. Institutional corridors are being laid down. A lot of us lived through that. Then you have 2024 ROUSD, 2025 hidden roads. Then in 2026 now, we have XRPL lending. Melissa brought this up. We have AMM improvements. We have tokenized RWAs. We have regulators talking about bringing capital formation back. We have Paul Atkins talking about bringing that on chain. That was the last thing I left you guys with there in that conversation. Now we have the financial system already creates value digitally. And you can see where the XRPL sits. So the ownership and settlement layer is finally catching up the digital ID of this. That's where FATF, Financial Action Task Force, fits in for anti-money laundering, counter-finance, counter-terror finance, CFT, and that's where KYC comes in. So the flow is now visible enough to frame it as a live structural sequence and not just hypotheticals. So I'm going to take you guys through the reality and not a hypothetical here. So the DTCC is moving first. It's May 4th, 2026 release, which I've shown you guys there about the DTCC advancing development of new tokenized services with the 50 other companies beginning July. It actually began June 28th for 24/5. Says the DTCC plans initial limited production trade of tokenized real-world assets in July, and then broader launch October. It also says the work is meant to prove production workflows and interoperability across chains. And Ripple Prime is in that workflow. Trump accounts now. I want to show you this before I jump into the Trump accounts because there we go. There we go.
Lizard King Spidey senses are tingling. I feel you, Lizard King.
So here we go. I'm going to take you guys through the Department of Treasury now. All right. Treasury announces investment lineup for Trump accounts. I'm taking you through a real workflow of how Ripple Prime sits on the other end of this and how they're actually enabling this through the DTCC. So July 1st, the U.S. Department of Treasury today announced the investment lineup for Trump accounts, including the initial default investment that will be available at launch and 4 additional low-cost index funds, options that responsible parties will be able to elect in the next coming months. So through Trump accounts, American families will be able to choose amongst the lowest cost options available to invest in their children's future. At launch, all contributions to Trump accounts will be invested in the State Street SPDR portfolio. I'm not saying to follow that, but essentially they've given you a freebie right there. You can invest into this because this is how they're enabling those Trump accounts to continue to pay the dividends for these children. When the government initially starts with their $1,000 and it continues to compound, they're doing it through this, one of these ones here, a low cost exchange traded funds, and there's a few other ones here. iShares, BlackRock, you have Vanguard. You see all the same players here. These are the stocks that they're investing in to enable these Trump accounts. So now I want to get into the bread and butter of this, now that we have that understood. So we heard the Treasury talking about the Trump accounts. I want to bring the DTC back into this now. Here we go. Live, you can see it right there, the DTCC. None of this is stuff I'm making up here. I don't got time to do that. This came out March 13th. The NSCC import notice announces new enhancements to the automated customer account transfer, or ACATS, to support the new Trump accounts that commence July. The enhancements were identified through collaborations among DTCC, SIPMA again, and other industry participants. Here's where their upgrades are taking place here. So you see where the DTCC now sits in terms of enabling the clearing and settling for these. And the significance of this, I brought up the Treasury market before. I want to go deeper into this Treasury market because they're now one of the next things to hit. After this, we have the post-trade settlement. Now I showed you, I believe I showed you that document in the very beginning, which was ISDA and the GDF. So now here we are on ISDA. This is their OTC derivatives, the largest market, as I had shown you there, and their compliance calendar. For the US, this is taking place September. You have under CFTC's rules only, initial marginal requirements apply to covered swaps entities with material swaps exposure. So you're going to see a lot more happening in September. If you remember the dates I brought up earlier, we were talking about August, that 60-day window. Now we're into September. None of these things are by coincidence. As we move forward here, we have, where is it? Right here for Treasury. Under ISDA, again, Ripple is a partner with ISDA, Algorand is a partner with ISDA, or at least on their roster here. We have Treasury clearing mandate goes into effect for eligible cash market transactions. We saw the ISDA document from the very beginning, how they're going to enable the money market funds, and now you have the timeline of all of that as well. I want to show a couple more things here before I open it up for our discussion here. This thing here, the DTCC, because I brought you guys to the end of the year, end of 2026. SWIFT is also enhancing their CBPR, cross-border remittance, November 2026. And now here we are with the DTCC with Stellar, multi-chain. I showed you guys how Ripple Prime connects. I showed you guys how Hedera connects. Not yet, actually. But Hedera connects with them. Nadine Shakar of the DTCC was talking about Hedera. I've shown you how Canton connects. I've shown you how Chainlink connects. And now we're here at Stellar. They're operating this platform beginning H1, first half of 2027. That's what H1 means, first half 2027. So the DTCC, the premier post-trade market infrastructure for the global financial services, and it says global because the DTCC connects to different other clearing organizations such as CBOE out in Europe, such as the HKEX, the Hong Kong Exchange. All of that is enabled through the DTCC. Hong Kong's currency, the Hong Kong dollar, is actually pegged to the US dollar. The dirham out in UAE is actually pegged to the US dollar. Go figure. So just to continue, and the Stellar Development Funds today announced plans to enable tokenization of the DTCC custodied assets on the Stellar network. All right. And then I want to, is this it here? Yeah, this came out here. I want to touch on this one last thing before I get into my last PDF here, and then we'll open it up. This came out from the clearinghouse. A lot of y'all remember the clearinghouse back in the day. So major financial institution unveil bank-led on-chain money initiative, came out June 5th, 2026. Where is it? H1. Where was it? Where was that? Where were you? I didn't highlight you. Essentially, a group of leading banks today announced a landmark digital payments initiative that will connect on-chain activity with traditional payment rails and enabling clearing and settling of tokenized commercial bank money. Keyword, commercial bank money. At scale, I showed you guys H1 for the DTCC and Stellar. Where are you? I know you're in here. It was on air. Anyways, they're commencing this first half of 2027 as well. So at the same time you have clearing and settling of treasuries, of repo on chain, them moving on chain. Now you have the commercial banks being enabled for clearing and settling as well. And the last thing I want to end you guys here, I'm going to go back in time where I've shown you, I've taken you guys through the presentation of where we are today, a bit where we came from to where we're going. And I'll bring a full circle now to take you guys back to 2018. This was an executive order under Trump, under his first term here. This is the financial system that creates economic opportunities. Non-bank financials. Non-bank financials are all your crypto asset companies, fintechs, and innovation. When we go through it, go right down to the bottom. Where is this? There we go. You see all the names again back from 2017. TD Ameritrade, the clearinghouse. I've shown you guys them. You have PayPal. You have Plaid. You have PNC. You have Prosper, which is Chris Larson's company. You have R3. You have Ripple, S&P Global. You have SoFi. You have Square. You have Stripe. You have WorldPay, Western Union. I believe these guys are bought by MasterCard, which is also enabling RLUSD. You have Visa. You have Vanguard again. You have US Bancorp, US Bank, again with Stellar. You have, if I go down even further, no, up, there it is. Go up further, you have JP Morgan. You have, where is it? You have Google, you have Goldman Sachs, you have FT Partners, Freddie Mac, you have MoneyGram, you have Moneytree, you have Moody's, Morgan Stanley. You have all the big names that I've shown you that a document that dropped today that were, and permit me to use the language, when I say charged, I don't mean charged as it is in the traditional sense, but Trump, through this executive order, had charged these companies to state that this is what we need to do, and I'm putting this in your hands. And now you see it come full circle back from 2017 to where we are today. All these payment companies, all these fintechs, all these blockchains have been enabled since back then. The question is, were you reading the tea leaves and following the actual dots? And here we are. That's my presentation.
I'm going to tell you what. So, like, I pre-show, it's amazing because back in 2018 when that came out, I was not following crypto because I didn't get into crypto until 2019. But I was following President Trump during his first term. And so when you say he charged these companies to do this, I remember watching him have meeting after meeting while everybody was talking about, bad stuff he was doing and all of that. I would sit and I would watch these things go down, the round tables, the getting the, yes, we are going to do this. And he didn't do this just with the financial sector. He did it with industries too, right? Mm-hmm. We're going to do this, we're going to do that, and all of this. And these plans have been in motion for so long. And you did such a fantastic job really laying everything out with not just, reading something in the New York Times or whatever. You're going to the actual financial documents where these players are Now that's where the real information is, right?
Yeah,
The people
source
that are
documents.
actually in charge
Yeah.
of the stuff. And I really like too, like, you're not giving us a timeline. You're just showing what's actually happening. You're not making price predictions or anything like that. It's just common sense when you see all of the groundwork that's being laid out here. And it's also a good awakening for folks to go, like, this is not going to happen tomorrow. Look at how far we've come, but look at how far we've come, So,
Yeah. I want to add now. So I started off saying that Melissa was correct in terms of it's going to be an emotional time, and it depends on what part of the scale you're on. I want to just touch on that. So for all of us here that can hear my voice, I'm sure a bunch of us, we're part of, we're the XRP family. We hold XRP. A lot of us hold Stellar. A lot of us hold Algorand. We've been following the documents. So for those who hadn't been following the documents and are in some of these crypto asset companies that are not adhering to regulations, are not abiding by the guidelines and oversight that exists that I've gone through already, it's going to be very emotional for people that are in these crypto assets that are going to zero, because a lot of them will go to zero. A lot of them do not adhere. And I purposefully brought up Tether as an example. Tether is an offshore company. They have no state-by-state licenses. They have no national licenses. Back in 1830, we were in the wildcat era. And this is when state-by-state had their own currency at this point here. If I lived in Ohio, I had my own currency. My $5 could have been worth 5 iPhones. Somebody else's $5 could have been 2 raccoon pelts. So in other states could have been, out in Seattle, they could have had $5 worth, this Yeti mic here. Meanwhile, it's like, I'm not trading my mic for those beaver pelts. I have no use. How is that $5? And then in 1863, under the jurisdiction of the OCC, you had the harmonization of all of this, which is where we're heading to now. You had the National Currency Act and then the National Bank Act. And that's what harmonized this, because only regulated banks could issue these currencies, which are regulated. June 18th, that comment period ended, as I just said. So any day we could find out how much collateral these banks need to hold. But first, we need to find out what is a real US currency. What is a real US currency, a real USD, an RLUSD? I'm just telling you what the name states. It's just the name. We have USDC as well. So we know that. And then for crypto to become legitimized, the central banks, the rails of all of this, CBDCs, most people are like, there's not going to be a CBDC in US. The US said there's no CBDCs, correct. However, that's no retail CBDC. You need to read these documents, and that's what helps you understand. They're not operating a wholesale CBDC. They're operating stablecoin as well, stablecoin by the issuer here. And then they have what's known as a synthetic CBDC issued by companies such as Ripple. And I say synthetic because it's not the jurisdictional CBDC that the country's creating. It's by a private issuer. So it's a synthetic CBDC. So that way they don't end up in for trust to happen for countries like Iran, like Russia, to want to issue or to utilize that currency for anything. It's like, I'm not using the US as whatever. I don't know about the stable coin. It's issued by another company, such as Ripple, goes through that CBDC, that jurisdictional, central bank digital currency, which offers the rails, which now enables XRP at that point there. So just getting back to the emotion side of this now, to those that are struggling already due to high inflation, to those that haven't prepared and given themselves optionality, to those that are not conducting jurisdictional arbitrage, because you don't want to be stuck in one jurisdiction, as we learned through COVID. When you get stuck in one jurisdiction, you're stuck to whatever that jurisdiction tells you can or cannot do. Whether your bank is in there and they're like, sorry, Simon, you can't access this bank anymore. We're going to shred up your bank card now. You can be like, all right, I'm going to go to the next jurisdiction where I have access to bank and reroute money to that bank and get access to my money. Optionality is the whole name of the game here. You want optionality in your identity as well, which is where LLCs come in and trusts come in, because at the end of the day, you want to be considered a nobody in the grand scheme of things. Because a nobody, you don't pay taxes. You don't own anything. You will own nothing and be happy. It's all in how you choose to interpret things. Words are significant like that, and I cling to words. When someone tells me something, I break it down to what their interpretation is, and then I have my own interpretation on it. So when Uncle Klaus said, "You'll own nothing and be happy," I was infuriated at first. I was like, "Who the are you? Tell me I'm gonna own nothing and be happy," because I was pissed off because of COVID. And now it's like, yo, this bro's giving game here, man. Yo, dude, I don't know you, Uncle Klaus, but like, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Like, I get it. It depends on where you are in your walk in life and how you choose to interpret things. And I'm specifically saying choose to interpret because we make up our own minds. Nobody makes it up for you. We make up our own minds based on our life and our walk and our experience and how we choose to interpret some things. That's your schema. That's what that is. It's your schema. So in terms of emotions, again, a lot of people haven't prepared for this. When crypto is ready or when regulations are ready, we are going to want this. We are going to need this. We've all heard it before when there are tanks in the streets and you can see that shit. Like you can see it, the build up to it, right? We had World War I. You saw Canada step in. You saw Japan step in. We know it as fragmented different wars. Pearl Harbor, the U.S. war. Then there was this war and that war. It was all one war. It's just different lenses of where you're viewing it from and when they stepped in. And that's what we're going into again. And because war is like one of the largest markets for an economy. Russia has priced in war for their economy against Ukraine. It brings in so much capital for them. So now it's part of their economic, this is our bread and butter. This is how we do business. War is part of this. Eventually they're going to get to a point where war is not part of it and they can operate as a regular economy. So crypto was going to be needed. The bank, Europe's T2 had failed twice now. 46 minutes, it has stopped producing. In July, the European Central Bank is going to be operating Project Pontes, and that's their enabling their DLT at this point here. So they're getting ready to go in July as well. Everything is happening at once, right? So for us, we can potentially experience something, I don't know the timeline on that, from now till into 2027, 2028, we can see something holy. To other people, they're going to see the complete opposite of that. So you're going to see that emotion depending on what side of the spectrum you're actually on. Did you prepare for inflation? Did you prepare for higher cost of living? Did you prepare for, in Canada, every 5 years we have a mortgage renewal, even though we have a 25-year lifespan for the life of that loan with the bank. Every 5 years we have to go to the bank, or it could be 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, depending on what your deal it was with the bank, and have to reapply again. Can you afford the house that you've been living in? Again, yeah. Can you afford it? And higher inflation, a lot of people are going to foreclose on these properties. Unfortunately, the Bank of Canada under Tip Macklem had said, we need to bring the price of real estate down. And you can see it happening. So here I am providing optionality for myself, selling my main property, selling my Airbnbs. I sold a duplex. I have another fourplex still. I sold a property in 2024. I'm reducing this wealth to provide optionality for myself because I don't want to have to. I learned a lot going through COVID with real estate. And now I've been early with it. I'm like, I don't want to experience what the next segment or the next chapter of this book could look like for real estate in Canada. I'm downsizing to 10 acres of land. My buddy gifted it to my wife and I. We're buying an RV, paid in cash RV, could be 30 grand, RV, whatever. No more mortgage payments, no rent payments. My business, Canadian business will own it. My business will own the land. I'm a poor guy living in an RV. I don't own it. I pay rent to myself because my business owns it. The land, the business owns the land. I'm a nobody. I'm a legit nobody at that point there. Meanwhile, I'm going to have businesses overseas because Canada has an agreement with Jamaica known as the CARICOM agreement. I'm in the process of acquiring my Jamaican citizenship, and then I get the passport, and then that opens up Jamaica and 14 other islands. Jamaica also has a deal with Africa, and I believe it's called the diaspora deal, which then opens up Africa to me. My wife is European, so we're going to have Canada, we're going to have Jamaica, 14 islands, we're going to have Africa, and I'm not stopping. Because when COVID came down and we were locked down, I said, never again. Nah, never again. You who are you, government, to tell me what I can and can't do? You're not my parent. So now I took control and put it into my own hands. I'm going to own nothing and be happy. I'm going to be a poor brother in RV, and I got no money to my name. And I'll be extremely happy. So It depends on what side of the spectrum you're on and you provided for yourself in terms of optionality. Are you going to be impervious to the inflation that's likely going to come or not?
Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, just even just the real estate part of it. You know, I've lived through where prices were going higher, and then you had the crash. You had all of the mortgage rates skyrocket, people getting foreclosed. You know, back in 2008, 2009 timeframe, and you know, some folks, if they had realized what was going to happen, they could have sold their properties at the time like you're doing now, right? Where the prices are high. But if you're listening to what everybody is saying about these prices they have to come down. And let's face it, at some point, I mean, the real estate prices are entirely too high. A lot of people can't even afford to buy a home in the first place. Interest rates, while some people are like, oh my gosh, they're super high right now, they're actually reasonable compared to what they used to be back in the day, right? Like these 1%, 3% mortgage rates were like a gift for a very long time, and people acquired a lot of properties and they got into some debt that maybe they can't really afford, or it could have been where like, hey, you bought into some properties and now you can sell it at a significant gain, get out, hold the cash to the side, and then wait, and those prices are going to come crashing down, and like what you're going to be able to buy with that money on the side if you want to get back into real estate, holy smokes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could pay cash, you could build something. There's a lot of things. So that's incredibly smart on your part, and if you're able to do it, anybody that's able to do it, but definitely start thinking about these kind. I mean, you should have been thinking about it all along. We all should have been thinking about this kind of stuff all along. But if you're just dipping your toe, coming across the dip a toe show, maybe evaluate your situation right now. See where you're at with things. You know, is it possible for you to make a major life change in preparation? Are you tied to your house? Do you have to live there? You know, all these kind of questions. So. Yeah. Hey, sing for Jesus.
On that, Melissa, you said major. I mean, real talk, Mr. Mann and others that are to his equal in a lot of different respects. It's Mr. Mann makes major moves, but before his major moves, there was a whole bunch of tiny little ones. And so, when you're talking about, mentioning, can you do something major? Yeah, you could. Can you do it today? Nope. But you could do a little one. You could do a little one right now. Just assess. Don't get emotional. If you're looking at I'm going to say the bad word here. If you're looking at a budget, and you're feeling a little stressed over it, hey, walk away from it. Just give yourself a break. That's not why you're there. You're not there to experience the emotions. You got to get rid of them. Go through that process. That's actually a major move, going through your emotions and etc. But it all happens with little ones. And before you know it, then you could do a big one or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. It just happens so quickly. All of a sudden, it's cool when it does.
I would also recommend this. I'm sorry. For those of you, like, if you go back and watch this show, watch it on slow play, really look at it. We tried to make it big, the screen big, for you to look at all the companies, the assets that are in play. if you're not holding any of those assets and you're in a bunch of obscure cryptos because you thought they were going to go to the moon tomorrow or whatever, listen, watch this show back, look at the timeline, look at the players involved, look at what's happening in the world, and then ask yourself again if you believe that your crypto that you're holding is one of the chosen ones, or if it's going to be successful. If not, it might be a time to hit and move, right? And what is going to happen too with a lot of these, because people are going to do it, much like the banks get scared of people like, pulling all their money out. That's why they have limits on how much you're able to pull out of the bank at one time, right? Because they don't want you draining all the money they have in their bank. Could happen to the same thing with your cryptos that you have that maybe aren't part of the plan.
Bank run.
Right? That people are going to be doing the bank run of the crypto runs on some of these ones that you think are so great, and you're going to get left holding the bag because either the exchange is going to get shut down or the prices are going to drop so low that you're not able to get any of your capital back that you put in. So right now, yes, the market is low, but I mean, it's time to do some evaluation, like really start looking at your bags, what you're holding.
Always should be doing that. Always.
But we always should be doing it. But I mean, there is some hardships coming, guys. There really is. So sorry, I just had to say that.
I want to add on to what you were saying, Melissa, and Simon, in regards to guard your energy. We are going through, like back in 1950, there was this event called the Carrington event, and it was the largest recorded solar storm in history, producing coronal mass ejections, or CMEs, that caused telegraph systems worldwide to fail, generated auras visible near the equator. If a storm of the magnitude hit today, it would cause mass disruption to power grids, GPS, communication. And the significance of that is the PJM, which is the energy grid in the US, has said that July 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th was the highest recorded energy consumption within the US. And here we are now. The sun exhibited intense activity in early July, launching multiple CMEs from volatile sunspots like active region 4479. And the reason that's significant is people tend to disconnect themselves from this earth. Right? We're a product and a creature of this earth. This physical meat factory that I'm in is of this earth. And when the sun, with all that heat and warmth and energy, shoots out into space, whether you believe in space or not, doesn't matter. That's not for me to determine, or whatever. That's for you. And that comes at us at the earth here. And then I've seen a significant amount of aurora borealis, or northern lights. 2024, 2025, and 2026 is increasing. And you better believe it. All of that energy hitting the earth takes a toll on you. If you think it's just the moon and the tide shifting in and out, we all know when full moons hit, people get the crazies come out at night, right? It happens with the sun as well. The sun has a significant amount of energy that shoots. And when those CMEs shoot out with all that heat and all that energy and all that whatever is in there, you better believe it has an effect on you. And the people that know this take advantage of this and manipulate it. That's how the stock market up and down and up and down and up and down, because they know and understand. That's why you see a lot of these pivots around full moons or on new moons. Most people are fasting, and there's a lot behind this. I don't want to go into that. It's a whole other topic. But I mean, we're all connected. Everything is connected. And you better believe, if you think you are separated from that, rethink that. It's all connected. And we are a product of this earth. My soul and whatever makes up this Mr. Man inside of me has its own vibration, frequency, and energy. But this meat factory is 100% earth, baby.
Earth, baby. Earth. Yeah, no doubt on that. Very, very, very true. Very, very true. As Qui-Gon said, we're in a symbiotic relationship with everything around us, literally.
Nice. Who said that? That's deep, man. I like that.
Bro, that's Qui-Gon. You don't know Qui-Gon? Man, Star Wars Episode 1, Qui-Gon.
Oh no! I thought that was a comment you said. I thought that was a comment.
No.
Who is that? That's deep, man. Who pulled that
Actually,
up?
it's Obi. It's actually both him and Obi-Wan. But it's that's real talk. What happens
Deep.
in one part of the world to anything, it affects us. It might not be where I would say, oh, did it affect you? It's like, well, no. It's like, well, yes, it did. It didn't hit you as hard, as opposed to a 2x4 in your face. That might affect you a little bit more, right?
Spooky action. That's the word that Albert Einstein used. Spooky action. What happens in one side of the world or the universe, the equal and opposite effect happens somewhere else. Whether that's
right.
If we scale that down to your life, it can equal and opposite reaction. Everything's connected.
100%.
Everything's connected. Man, this has been a fantastic show. Everyone's saying agreed, best show ever. Like Mr. Man laid it out. Yeah.
Solid. Thank you guys. I'm glad I could bring some value today for y'all. Thank you.
Always bringing value, bro. It's a trip to. I hear your voice, and then I look up at the screen. I'm like,
his face.
Right. You did the big unveiling. I'm like, your mask isn't on. What are you doing?
I know, yo, pull the screen away, man. No one should know who I am.
But I bet you're breathing a lot better.
I am, yeah. I'm not suffocating in there anymore. It's not just, what's it called there? Sweat and like spit on the inside of the mask.
Yeah, you need a moist towelette to just, oh my gosh. I don't know what I had.
Give me a sec. I gotta clean this out, but I'll come back and finish the show here.
I always felt sorry for what the heck's his name, the Bearable Bull, and he went to that one event and he was in his whole get up, and it's like, oh man, that's just got to be so uncomfortable and hot, But
you dedicate yourself to the craft, though, man. When you don't want to be known, you got to dedicate yourself to it. And I'll show up I went to Texas, out in Houston for the XRP Unleashed. I had the mask on. Nobody knew who I was. No one needed to know who I was at that point in my journey and in their journey with me. I mean, as long as you could close your eyes and hear my voice and see the documents I'm posting, you can hear the credibility. You can see and feel the genuineness that I'm bringing forward. I don't got time to make up my own PDF to try and fool. I don't gain anything from this.
No.
I don't get it,
Mm-hmm.
No, this is one of the things that, when I first met you, you immediately resonated with me. I've always thought of myself as a great researcher. And then I met you and I was like, oh yeah, this guy's got it. This guy takes it to a whole nother level. And I mean, I just want to say, I'm part of your private group that you have going on. And folks, I'd love for you, we've got a couple minutes. I'd love for you to share that information for folks because it's more information than you can even read. It's so much, but even when you dip your toe into it and you're looking at the documents, I've always been somebody that I want to see this stuff with my own eyes, right? Trust but verify, that sort of thing for myself. And the other thing that I really like about you is the way in which you research, and it inspires you and teaches you how to research, right? Even more so than what I was doing in the past. And then you're just an incredible dot connector. And so I just think that's fantastic. Opti wants to know what made you decide to let the mask go.
I was wondering if you were going to show that comment. So I didn't care to take off my mask. I was talking to my partner. Some of you guys might know him, Roman. He is the financial arm within SkyWealth Digital and my partner in SkyWealth Digital. And he's a wealth manager, wealth planner, strategist for 30 plus years now. And because SkyWealth Digital now exists and the clientele we're reaching with that is different clientele than Mr. Man, I don't know who the clientele is with Mr. Man. You can be high net worth, low net worth, whatever you are. And I want to keep my platform affordable because that's how I started this thing. But because Roman, he comes from the world of high net worth individuals, ultra high net worth individuals, I couldn't prove credibility for myself with these people with money, and they're like, I'm not investing nothing with this guy here. It's a different reality from us to what, you know, these people are and what they're living in. They're like, nah, I worked hard for this money here. I don't know who you are. I don't care who you are. I need to know who you are, your name, where you, whatever. So I was like, okay, I think it's time I do this. So in XRP Las Vegas, that's when I decided to unveil there, because I was one of the speakers on stage there. I figured that would, or XRP Vegas, that was the time to go and do it now and introduce myself to the digital space, to the world. And since doing that, I've been able to, hopefully it goes through. I have to confirm it. I should have a meeting with CFTC's crypto dad, Chris Giancarlo, and there's a few other in the industry as well. I was able to make connections with at this point during Vegas. So because I've been able to, I've taken the mask off, it's sort of enabled me to further my, I don't want to call it my career. It's not a career, to further my life and my journey. Yeah, with what I'm trying to build for Mr. Mand and Skywealth Digital.
Yeah.
And just to Melissa's point, to all you guys that aren't in the Mr. Mand group, believe me when I tell you it's an exhausting amount of information that continuously comes around the clock. It'll keep you up to date with what's going on. You have access to me. You can, friend me in there. We can chat back and forth. I also created my own LLM, large language model AI, and this thing is in the Discord, and it pulls from source information as well and provides a morning brief, an up to the time information play out and call out, and then an evening brief. So you got all day information from an AI providing this stuff. And again, it connects to source truths, as well as I'm the one teaching it how to do this, because I'm structuring framework. I'm structuring, what do they call these things again? Oh, what's the word? I can't think of the word right now. It was a word from back in the day, but there's also, I'm structuring governance. I'm structuring things that enable and allow what truth can be. And I'm not filtering it to say, I'm not allowing fact check that this is my bias. I'm not putting my bias in it at all. It creates it. All I do is create the framework, the bylaws. You need to adhere to these bylaws. Don't go out and make your own whatever you want. This is the information. It needs to be factual. And then at the end, state where you got your evidence from for your thesis going forward. And like the FOMC that had taken place in June, the minutes came out today, and we heard about it immediately when they came out, because it's like, this is another Atlas updates. The FOMC minute update, the minutes PDF is out now, and this is what it says, and this is what we can look forward to, and this is what it's going to enable, and here's what you should monitor going forward. So like, the group is up to date. We have another section which has the calendars, and this calendar, man, this calendar is wild. It gives you everything, a global view of what's going on, I provide education as well. I have a section in my Discord which I call school, and in there you have documents, you have study guides, you have flashcards, then you have a quiz. You also have audio in regards to the lesson at hand, and it's two people discussing what is actually going on. And all of this is created by AI from the documents I've provided it, and to help you further your legitimate education in this, because we're all walking through education now. This is education. We are teaching ourselves, because you're not going to school and learning about any of the things that we're discussing here. Now, not a single thing.
Not a single thing. How can they find your group if somebody is interested in joining?
Good question. So you can hit me up on X and you'll see my link there. Or you can always just go to mr-man.ca, and that'll bring you to my webpage, and from there you can sign up for it. Excuse me, I'm still trying to streamline the onboarding. From there, once you pay, it should enable you to access the Discord there. But if anybody has any issues, by all means, hit me up on X. Write me, let me know, and I can do what I can to get you into the group. we legit get you ready in this group. We get you ready not just with, dates and timelines and, AI. I also help you prepare in terms of structure because I offer LLCs. Myself and Roman through SkyWealth Digital, we've just partnered with a company out in the US as well in Wyoming to begin to offer trusts. I help you structure your wallets as well. I think I had gone through that last day. I might have, maybe not. But I teach you the reason in terms of having structured wallets and not just, here's my Tangent card, tappity tap tap, and it's my big bag. There's structure to this. You don't want your big bags being used. You don't want your big bags being known. You want them as offline as you can. And to achieve that, there's structure and hierarchy. So the people that are wealthy and stay wealthy, they have hierarchy of things they do and don't do. They have constitutions. They have agreements. They have things amongst their own trust, what they can and can't do. So in that way, when they passed away, the trust still exists. The LLC corporation still exists, and it operates the same way it's supposed to, as long as the person you've been teaching about it and groomed follows and just reads it. It's like, this is easy. This is what I need to do, because there's structure. There's a way to capitalize on the standard operating procedures, and all I gotta do is read this and follow that. That's it.
That's fantastic. Any final thoughts before we shut her down? I know Opti said, will you be coming to the After Dark space? Be after this. But if by chance you can stop by, please do. After Dark on X is at 10:10 Eastern time here in 10 minutes after the show ends. So for those of you who are watching, please be sure to join us over there. Any final thoughts, Mr. Mann?
Yes. How long does the after show go for?
It's only supposed to be until 11:11, and then it usually goes till midnight.
Okay.
But
I have one more showing. I have one more showing after the show here tonight at 9 o'clock my time, 10 o'clock your time, which I'm showing another individual, the Airbnb, and then I should be able to get home and jump onto X, and I should be able to jump in for some time and chop it up with you all. Yeah.
That'll be great. Any final thoughts?
Thank you for having me on the show. I always enjoy coming to the show. I don't want to shill my group, but hit me up on X. You'll find me on X. You'll find my webpage there. You'll find how to jump into the group. If you have any issues, by all means, let me know. But I want all of you guys to succeed with this. We're the small people in this world. We're a bunch of nobodies. But because we've been able to successfully follow the breadcrumbs, put these pieces together, the way I look at it, we've shed the skin of NPCs. We're no longer non-playable characters, and we are participants in this system now, because this is the system that enables everything around you that exists. The money is the first enablement, because without the money, you can't conduct the commerce unless you're doing bartering, and bartering is leaving soon. So with this new digital system, we are here early. We are participants in the system now. We understand that there is a system, so we are no longer NPCs, and majority of us here are builders. So we're now enabling this system to continue to live. That's my final thoughts here.
Simon?
What do you mean, Simon? That was a mic drop, man. End the show. Let's go.
I don't know to say, Mr. Mann. Oh, sorry.
Mr. Mann, Mr. Mann, it's always a pleasure that when you bless us with your presence and your knowledge, man. You really, really are a gem to this earth. You really are.
Thank you.
I get when you speak, I listen, I keep up, and for those that are thinking about or even heard about Mr. Mann's group before, get in there. I'm telling you, it's worth your time. Whatever time that you can give to his group, do it. You will not lose. You will not lose. You will walk away with more than one something anytime you can jump in that group, man. Go do it, because it is a fantastic group. And there's so much value there. It's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous.
Just to add on top of that, like with the group, it's not just me in there. There's other researchers. And then on Friday, so on Wednesdays, we offer DeFi. End of the month, we do a monthly LLC meeting for all the people looking to join and want to learn about LLCs. On Fridays, every Fridays, I host what's known as the War Room, where we have individuals such as Simon come in, talks about IBC, infinite banking concept. So we provide strategies for you guys. I have tax professionals coming through, accounting individuals coming through. I have people from different communities such as Chainlink. I'm working on others. I'm looking at, abstract or obscure, if you want to call it obscure, at remote viewing. I've had Decent come through, and we had a giveaway of wallets. I think, Melissa, did your wallet ever show up?
Yeah, you won.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, that's because Rogue wasn't there.
Yeah, I've had Flair and Sarah show up. So we've had many professional industry individuals show up. So you're never, what's happening. What's happening. You're getting like live feed continual. And I'm not saying it's going to be the only platform you need. It's not going to be. You'll probably be amongst other groups as well. But this platform will definitely enrich you and enable your continued growth in the digital industry.
I appreciate you dropping all the knowledge and giving people something real to think about. At the end of the day, you guys, this roller coaster is coming whether we want it to happen or not. The regulations are rolling out. The infrastructure is being built. The only thing we can control is how prepared we are, what we've been investing our time and attention and money into. So I just implore you to take what you've heard today, go reflect on your own position, start making moves if you need to. For some of this, it's going to be an amazing ride. For others, it might be rough, but knowledge is the ultimate edge. Thank you so much, Mr. Man, for coming on the show. Make sure you guys are following Mr. Man on X. He's always dropping the gems. And as always, thank you for all of you who support and come to the Dip and Toe Show every Wednesday night. We love you, and we will see you next time. Have a good rest of the day.
Welcome and hello. Let's chat about the things that we'd like to know. With Simon and Melissa, you feel right at home. Talking crypto, maybe you should just